En segundo lugar, escucharemos la ponencia cuyo título responde a la experiencia europea en la enseñanza de la religión en las escuelas públicas y privadas. Dicha ponencia estará a cargo del profesor Gerhard, que como todos ustedes saben es decano de la Facultad de Derecho de la Universidad de Treveris en Alemania. Con respecto al texto de esta ponencia tengo que decir que le será entregado mañana. Gracias.
Dear Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor indeed, and it is a profound pleasure to be able to speak to you in Lima about religious instruction in the European Union. I do apologize, doing so in English. It may indeed cause some problems to translate my English into Spanish, but I can assure you it would cause even more problems to translate my Spanish into Spanish. Some of you have suffered that experience today and yesterday, and I again apologize. So I have to do it in English. Religious instruction is a key issue in forming the personality of young individuals. It is a key issue in building ideas, forming and upholding traditions, and living ethics. It is indeed a key issue in integrating a society. Religious instruction is a fundamentally key issue of religious freedom. Religious freedom carries the function of positive freedom, to be able to live actively a life according to one's religious beliefs, not only believing but also acting accordingly. At school, this means religious freedom must guarantee room for religious needs. This is the adequate place of religious instruction. It is an offspring of the right of the parents to determine the education of their children too. Wherever there is a duty for the young people to attend school, as there is throughout Europe, a legal obligation to attend school, the state takes hold of the time of the young ones. The state regulates, cuts down the freedom of how to spend one's time. Therefore, in return, the state has to provide for adequate compensation, time also for religious needs in school. All member states of the European Union accept that in basics. And they do see to instruction in the field of religion, in one way or another. The survey over the member states of the European Union, which I have the honor to give, shows a rather heterogeneous picture of religious instruction in public schools. I would take the privilege to concentrate on public schools, religious instruction within private schools, which are mostly run by churches and religious communities. They usually follow the teaching and ideas of the institution running the school. In some cases, like in Germany, these religious schools often do offer religious instruction also in other denominations, Catholic schools for Protestant religious instruction, if there is an adequate number of pupils from that other denomination attending the school. Usually they do so voluntarily, not obliged by law. In some cases, if these religiously run schools are intensely integrated into the public school system of the country, they may be obliged to do so by law. Let me give you a short overview over the different solutions found in the member states of the European Union to offer religious instruction in public schools. I shall concentrate on some, disregarding others. Those I pick seem to be somewhat typical. At the end, we can, I hope, distinguish certain types of solutions differing from one another. Some of the solutions I skip, like Spain or Italy, because we have colleagues here from those countries who know much better than I do about their systems. Perhaps they give additional information in the discussion afterwards. So it is not disregard, it is mere incompetence. First, Denmark, a smaller one. Here in Denmark, we have a state church, or a people's church, that is the Lutheran church, to which almost everybody belongs. The earlier teaching in public schools of Christianity as religious instruction was changed into religious knowledge, a subject alongside the other compulsory disciplines since 1975. Religious knowledge is now part of the curriculum in all schools and in all school years except the 7th and 8th level. This exception, within those two levels of classes, is made in order to make it possible for the children at the age of 13 to 15 to follow the preparation for Lutheran confirmation given by the priest of the parish. Children who do not want to be confirmed are not obliged to follow the normal education in religious knowledge instead. The education in religious knowledge has the evangelical Lutheran Christianity of the Danish National Church as its central topic. A child can be exempted from the instruction in religious knowledge in the case its parents so request. But the child must join the request if it has reached the age of 15. A teacher also can ask for exemption from the duty of giving religious instruction if he so wants from religious freedom reasons. Second, Germany, if you allow. This German system is a balancing system, not a state church system. There is no state church, but there are two historically dominant churches almost equal in size and impact, the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church. Religious education in public schools is to be a standard subject in all schools, public ones. The state has a right to visit it, to see to adequate education towards the standards of state education. But the religious instruction in its content is to be conducted in accordance with the guidelines of the religious communities. They decide on what is taught. It is a confessional instruction by constitutional law. Catholic religious instruction for Catholic pupils, Protestant religious instruction for Protestant pupils, Jewish instruction for Jewish pupils, and so on. No teacher is obliged against his or her will to teach religious instruction. The parent of a child has the right to regulate the participation of their child in religious education. Nobody can be forced to take part. When the child reaches the age of 12 years in principle, the parental decision is not to be allowed in conflict with the child. The child and the parents have to take the same stand. Nothing can be done against the will of the 12-year-old children. Upon reaching 14 years of age, the child is free to decide by him or herself, even against the will of their parents. Religious instruction is to be a standard subject in public schools, and therefore it is not permitted to put religious instruction into the position of simply a minor or an optional subject. It's a compulsory subject. The content of the religious instruction is to be decided by the confessional teachings of the relevant religion. Whenever a minimum number of students, pupils, of the same confession is reached in a school or nearby schools, normally between 6 to 8, sometimes 12 pupils, this public school is obliged to offer corresponding religious education, if the children or their parents request so. Children, parents, and the religious community have a constitutional right to such educational services. A question often raised today, without a definite answer though, up to now, is in relation to the religious instruction for Muslim children at school. There is a basic standing entitlement for Muslim school children to such religious education. But claims for this kind of education very often fail because of the lack of a relevant representative of the Islam community, because of the structure of Islam. Let me turn thirdly to France. In general, a laicist system. For historical reasons, except in the 3 départements of the east of France, Alsace-Lorraine, Alsace-Moselle, public education is secular. But this laicity takes different forms according to the level of education concerned. The present picture, roughly, and without going into any details, is as follows. For the primary schools, the law provides that the school must leave clear 1 day a week from normal school teaching to enable the parents, if they so wish, to arrange for religious education outside the school.
A continuación, tendrá lugar la tercera de las ponencias previstas